2. We'll just wait for people to get in here, inshallah. Everything's going out right now, but we are live. Okay, 4 people in here. We'll just begin, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to another Friday night Super Halal Vibes. Today we have Baba Ali. He's the guy from Ummah Films, halfardeen.com. Everybody knows hooray for Baba Ali. My kids grew up on his stuff. I loved his comedy, and here we have him tonight on Friday night Super Halal Vibes. Assalamu alaikum, Baba Ali. How you doing?
Wa alaikum salam. Great to be here, man. Looking forward to it.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, so we're just going to get something out of the way. We're going to go lightning round right now with the questions. So, Baba Ali, coffee or tea?
I don't drink either, so I'm already naturally caffeinated with 100 miles an hour, so I'm good.
That's right. I can't imagine a world where there is a caffeinated Baba Ali. I mean, regular Ali is caffeinated enough. Man, so. Yeah. Okay, so next question, and this might be like a thick issue. Chicken or beef biryani?
Yeah, I need chicken. I'm more of a chicken guy.
Yes. Me too. Okay, football or basketball?
See, I love watching football, but I like playing basketball. So I got to choose the basketball. Been playing. That's actually the only thing I have in my verbal contract with my wife is I get 2 hours of basketball per week before I married her.
In the contract.
My brothers disappeared. I'm like, I'm not disappearing from the basketball court.
No way. Yeah. Hey, thank you, Mohammed Jassim Odin, for the super sticker. I appreciate you, bro. Okay, so how was Juma today?
It was good, alhamdulillah. It was good. Good discussion.
How's the weather in sunny Los Angeles, man?
It's hot. It's warm. It's sunny. It's hot. We only got 2 seasons here. We got either summer and summer. We got spring and summer. We don't got winter. We don't really got a fall. It's just usually warm or sunny. So yeah, maybe.
Like, I'll tell you what. Here in Oklahoma, when I got here the first day, it was 116 degrees, and I was just like, wow, alhamdulillah that we have like air conditioning, because I didn't have air conditioning in my old house in Washington State.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like, I don't care if it's 135 degrees, man. I'm here in the air conditioning, 72 degrees, nice and icy cool. But
that's nothing beats a nice AC.
Oh man, like if you don't have AC here, you're done.
Yeah,
you're done.
Same in LA. If you don't have enough, when the heat hits you, you're toast. Like literally toast. Like you can take toast outside and start making toast.
Yeah, exactly. It's hot down here. I don't know about Oklahoma, but it's like the kind of heat where you go outside and you say, is it supposed to really be this hot? It's like, did the sun move a mile closer to the earth or something? Am I going to live out this day, or do I need to go inside?
Man, I used to be white. Now I'm barbecued. I've been sitting in the sun for too long.
Right. Now I'm chicken biryani. Yeah. Okay, so let's get into it, inshallah. For those that don't know Baba Ali, Ali and I did a lot of shows together on Clubhouse where we talk about masculinity, but Ali's forte is marriage, relationships, not only getting people married, but helping them stay married. So let's just go into it with some statistics. So the first statistic, and this is Muslim, I assume. This is Muslim statistics that we're reading. The first one is 45% of all marriages end in divorce, right? The next one is 70% of those divorces are initiated by women, 90% if they're college educated. Ali, what do you think about these statistics? Why are they happening?
Yeah, you guys start hitting those alarm bells, because that's scary. If I'm looking to get married, I'm a guy, I'm like, half of these are ending in divorce, and then 70% of those divorces are initiated by women. And if it is initiated by women and the guy gets a short end of the stick when the whole thing gets said and done, That's the reason why I think a lot of guys aren't looking to get married.
Well, when I bring up that
They're
statistic,
scared.
and when
I mean, you could,
you bring up that statistic, and when I bring up those numbers, women say, "Well, isn't it because of you guys? There's not enough good guys out there. That's why we're leaving." Well, what do you have to say about that?
if that's true, then you're in trouble, because then you're saying a very, very small percentage of men are even worth staying married to. And because the thing is, we're shifting all the blame to the men. And yes, there are some bad men out there. But when you don't take any accountability from the sister side, then it becomes problematic. I mean, it's both sides that have issues. But the problem is, when the brothers have the issues, we can address those issues. We can focus on those. We can actually talk about it. Men can hold other men accountable. But when the female is the issue and she's the one that's the problem, no one's holding her accountable. And society doesn't hold her accountable. Her friends don't hold her accountable. Her husband can't hold her accountable. Men in general can't hold her accountable. In fact, women can't hold women accountable. And when you have a problem in that in society, you have one side that at least is aware of their issues, and the other side is completely oblivious to it. They have no idea what's going on.
Well,
And that's where it gets pretty scary. Yeah.
why do you think that some of these women? I'm sure there's not all of these women. We have to stay away from all words on this YouTube and everything else. Why do you think women don't hold others to account? Like men, I can tell you, we've known each other, and if I see something in you, if you and I are boys,
Yep.
and you're slipping up, or if I'm slipping up, you're gonna say, Ali, listen, man, I love you, man. I love you. You're my brother, man. We go way, way, way back. But bro, it's just, I got to talk to you about something, man. I see you going in a direction that I don't think's good for you, man. And I, as a man, would say, really, man, am I slipping, man? Man, Jazakallah khair, man. I appreciate you for catching that in me, bro. And you know that I can say the same thing to you. Why do you think women can't do that? Like, for example, our sister that is in Clubhouse and on Twitter, they talk about things that hold women to account. But then, oh my God, that is World War III, IV, and V altogether. When she says anything like that, I mean, they're calling her names. They're talking about her family. Why do you think that is, man? And these are Muslim women.
And that's the social dynamics are different. Two guys can get in a fist fight and they can become close friends one day in the future. Women, if two friends, not even friends, just regular sisters get in a fist fight, they can never be best friends in the future. I think with men, they can not only forgive, but they can move on. And we have to be able to do that. We have to hold each other accountable. I don't really care about the dynamics of the sisters. I'm not a female, so I'm not in those social circles. But I think the sisters that are not holding each other accountable, especially the sisters that you love and you care about, you're not helping them. You're keeping them alone. A lot of sisters have no idea what's keeping them single. And their friends are definitely not telling them. Instead, what they're doing is they're saying, you know what? Oh, there's no good men out there. Oh, they don't really appreciate you, and blah, blah, blah. They don't really tell them, hey, the reason why you're staying single is because of ... It's because of your attitude, the way you carry yourself, the way you just interact with the opposite gender. Just your energy is really pushing people away. And they know that, but they just want to be nice, so they don't do it. And guys, we can hold each other accountable. A guy can walk to the guy and say, dude, you're gaining weight. Sisters are not going to say, hey, you're fat. They can't say that, because the other sisters say, who are you to judge me? Only God can judge me. No guy doesn't say that. Guys don't say that. The other aspect of it is like when men, you were mentioning earlier, like, Ali, you're slipping. When I first became Muslim and I started learning about Islam and didn't have the right friends around me, I started slipping. I started surrounding myself with a bunch of people that were not Muslim. And what happened was I slowly start behavior-wise started changing. I stopped learning. I stopped interacting with the brothers. I started hanging out with the non-Muslim group that was doing some really messed up stuff. Even though I wasn't doing it, I was taking baby steps towards it. It took a brother to take me to the side and say, hey, Ali, you're slipping. And honestly, to be direct with you guys, to be transparent, I took it personal. because I'm like, who is this guy to judge me? But at that night, when I sat down and thought about everything he told me, I said, wow, this guy had the love for me to feel uncomfortable or awkward to tell me, hey, Ali, you're slipping here. And that takes a lot of courage, a lot of bravery to do that. And then second, I realized that even though I'm surrounded with a lot of friends, I only have one friend. And that's the guy who cares enough about me to feel worth spending his energy, his time, or even risking his friendship with me to tell me the truth because how much he loves me. Until today, he's my closest friend. So I'm saying that to have a friend like that is a gift. And many of us are surrounded with a bunch of people, but we call friends, but they're not really our friends. You have thousands of people that we follow on. I have 100,000 people who follow me on my Half Ardeen account. Does that mean I have 100,000 friends? No. Your friends are the ones that when you're down, you can call them and they don't want anything in return. Like, that's a true friend. How many times have you guys been called with a friend who, hey, how's it going? Long time no see. And you're like, okay, just get to the part where you need something from me. And how many of the other friends did you have to actually call you to see how you're doing? Haven't heard for you a while. Are you doing okay? Like, they genuinely care about you and they don't need anything in return. That's a true friend, not just people who just need stuff from you. And unfortunately, we surround ourselves with a bunch of people and we have a lot of followers in the social media currency. And we think that we're something. But in reality, we live in a world where we're very lonely people. A lot of us are alone. We just give this false impression that we're surrounding ourselves with like friends and stuff like that. But I remember when I was growing up, I felt much more of a human connection than I do today. Right? We're just I'm sitting in a room by myself. You're in a room by yourself. Even when we play video games, you're just in a room by yourself. Remember the days we used to play video games and your buddy would stay next to you, play co-op games and stuff like that? Those were fun.
Oh, yeah.
We don't get that no more. I just have headsets on.
You get in front of the TV and you play co-op and you got the popcorn in the middle. You got 4 guys around you waiting to get on the sticks. Oh yeah.
We don't got that no more.
That.
And now we're like, what are these things? And then what's sad is like, what people don't understand, especially sisters, is a lot of sisters, you know who's keeping you single? Other sisters. They'll keep you single.
Other single sisters.
Yeah, and single sisters will get married sisters to join the bandwagon. And what they do is they'll tell you stuff like, okay, so what'd your husband get you? Oh, we don't do the whole anniversary thing, or we don't do the birthday thing. Oh, really? Oh, that's nice. I guess if he doesn't really care about you, I guess it's not a big deal. And then she keeps planting these little seeds into your head. Like, for example, you may be in your friend who's with you, your husband, her husband, you, and your friend, so etc. So they're together and you're in the back seat. They're giving you a ride. They stop at the store and you're grabbing something, for example, and your husband didn't grab it from your hands. She will make a comment about that to her friend. So if it was my husband, I would definitely tell him this. If it was my husband, she doesn't know your dynamics of what your relationship with your husband is. So she just starts planting these little seeds in your head. Oh, he doesn't. If your husband really loves you, he would never let you blah blah blah. If your husband really cares about you, he wouldn't blah blah blah. So you start thinking, yeah, I guess you're right. I guess you're right. And slowly by slowly, you start taking these disconnections between you and your husband, and your friend's the one planting the seeds. You were totally content until that point.
Do you think social media has something to do with this? Because I think that we live in an age where I don't know if men so much, but it seems like women are constantly comparing themselves to whoever's popular or has the most followers on YouTube or social media. Like, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think sisters naturally compare. And that's why for sisters who are older, you'll notice that more and more men that you speak to in marriage, the more and more difficult it gets to get married. Because if you spoke to brother A and he was okay, he was not amazing, he was okay. Then you speak to brother B, you're like, wow, B has some things that A didn't have, but A did have one thing I really, really liked about him. So let me just continue. Then you go to C, D, E, F, G, and eventually you go, oh, I got like B and C, D, E, and F all had something that A and B didn't have. So you start comparing and you just want to build this Muslim Frankenstein of every small amazing piece. And I'm waiting for the brother who has everything. And the longer you wait, the more you're going to just put yourself into a deeper and deeper hole, not because we're getting older, but more importantly, that you are now comparing more and more and more people until you don't know what you want anymore. You're just waiting for that perfect person, and there is no perfect person. There's a
And
huge line of sisters on the waiting
you've
list.
You've been put on the waiting list.
The waiting list. You know why they call it the waiting list? Because you wait and wait and wait. And go look at the number of sisters all waiting to get married. Let me give you advice. There was a mathematician who was a female mathematician who gives really good advice. She said, marry the first person above average that when you're ready to get married, that proposes to you. The first person. Because if you pass on him, let's say a scale of 1 through 10, 1 through 100, he was like an 85. And you're like, wait, I might be able to do better. I might be able to do better. And you wait and wait and wait. The next one's 83, then 80, then 75. Or if I just get that 85 again, and then maybe never get that person again. And every person, even if you get an 83, it's hard to settle. It's hard to go down. It's almost like the people that's a part of your brain that gambles. And the person who's just swiping or at the casino rolling the dice, you got to a point where you want $35,000 and you start slowly losing the money. You're like, okay, fine. As soon as I get back to that 35, I'm going to quit. Just let me get back to that 35 again. And you never do until you go bankrupt. And the guys who are swiping all day, they're waiting for, that's a pretty girl. Oh, it's this pretty. Let me just keep going. Let me just keep going until I find the even prettier than her. There's always someone prettier than that next person.
Always.
Always. And this is the problem. Is like, when are you content?
Exactly. So Baba Ali, guys out there, that was just the intro. I didn't even ask my guy the questions yet. We're going to get deep inside of the issues now. So as I said, Baba Ali is the founder of, and he does live events too. We're going to get into that at the end of the show. He can help you get married. You know, we're going to tell you how to do it, inshallah. But the first question or the first issue that you and I talked about before the show was, we're going to go about 3 very, very important issues. And mind you, everybody out there in the crowd, no one does it like this guy. SubhanAllah. We've talked so many times, him and I, about marriage and women and men and the problems and the statistics and, you know, the numbers, the whole nine. This guy, that's basically all he talks about. He has mastered this. You know, I would say he's an authority, bro. I look at you like an authority. So I'm just waiting for the book to drop, you know what I mean? But let's get into this. The first thing that we're going to talk about is the illusion of options is keeping you single. What does that mean, illusion of options?
So, a lot of sisters are on either Mismatch or Salami or one of these swiping apps. And basically what they're doing is they're putting, you like that, huh? So they're on these apps, and what's happening, a majority of sisters are having this experience. Does this sound familiar, sisters? You're like, a lot of these guys aren't looking for marriage. They're like, hello, what do you think they're on? Why do you think it's called Mismatch and Salami? There's a reason why they're looking for something else. So the reality is that these guys have different intentions in you, but you get approached by so many men, which gives you the impression that I have a lot of options. There was this doctor guy who contacted me. There's a very handsome guy who contacted me. This very successful businessman who contacted me. Well, I can get any of these guys, but unfortunately, none of them are looking for marriage. They're all looking for something else. But in the meantime, I just know that I can now reach this audience. But in reality, you can't. In reality, most people, good sisters, are going to probably get 3 or 4 quality proposals in their life. But because you're getting so many messages in your inbox and you're sliding into your DMs and everything else in between, you have this impression that you have a lot of options. But the reality is you don't. You have a lot of options if you want the haram relationships.
You and I talked about this.
Yeah.
You and I talked about this before. This is one of the unrealistic expectations. Just because men, let's say that there's 100 men that are in your DMs, they're on halfdeen.com and they're messaging you and they're, you know, whatever, sliding your DMs. And, you know, a woman says, oh, I have options all over the place, like you were saying, but no, you have the attention of low value men that want to hook up with you. Yep. They want you physically, but they don't even understand what it is to be a man, much less a husband or a father. Just because you have the attention of a lot of men doesn't mean that they're good men. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yep. And a lot of these men that are using these applications, remember the applications, when they're used for something, like we know, let's just be transparent here. When we're copy and pasting Tinder, and Tinder is a hookup app, and we just have the Muslim version of that, what do you think? Now we have Muslims who are just looking to hook up. Are there people getting married? Of course there are. But those are the exceptions. The majority of people that have I'm just asking you guys, forget what Baba Ali's saying. Sisters who are watching this right now, the majority of people who are contacting you, are they looking for marriage? And most of you doing this at home right now. Exactly. But the majority of the people who are using those apps happen to be men, because they're not looking for marriage. So what happens is you are unfortunately under this impression that you have all these lot of options for you to get married, but you really don't. So, and then therefore, when a good brother does come along, that is pretty good, you kind of pass on because you think you can get better. And as you've been passing all those really good brothers, somebody else will end up marrying that guy. Meanwhile, you're sitting there wondering, what can I do to get married? And how can I get that brother back? He's gone. Somebody else will scoop him right up.
Ali, let me ask you something. What on your site, because I know a lot of people like write you emails and stuff like that, and hey, what's going on? That one person that you told them about, you know, I've been on this site for one day and nobody proposed to me. What's going on? what's if you could name like 1, 2, or 3, let's say 3, but at minimum 1, what is the main reason that people are staying single? Why? They can't find their mate.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. So one is unrealistic expectations. People are expecting the guy or girl to hit all these check boxes. There is no perfect person. Every one of you who is watching this video right now have flaws. I have flaws, right? All of us have flaws. Right? All of us have flaws. You just have to find someone that can live with your flaws. You have to be able to find their flaws and decide if you can live and tolerate their flaws. We don't look at that angle. We look at the opposite. Here's my entire wish list of all the things that I'm looking for in a spouse, and I'm just waiting for someone to fulfill it, like it's Eid. Hello, that's not how life works. Every single person who's married right now, ask them, who's been married for 20, 30 years, is your husband perfect? Is your wife perfect? Are there things about them that could get under your skin? Of course. But you're able to tolerate that and stop living in a fantasy world where I'm going to get everything that I want. You're not going to get everything that you want. There are going to be things that your husband or wife may never have. Are you content with what you have with your husband and wife? In today's generation, they are not easily content. We're the exact opposite. Everything is more difficult. You have more options today than you've ever had before. And what are those options referring to? As far as like tools of finding each other. You have online, you have offline, you have all these different, even online, how many websites do you have? Literally access to millions of people. But yet it's more harder to find someone today than your parents' generation who didn't have access to millions of people. So what are you doing wrong? One, it's another issue.
What are they doing wrong? What are they doing wrong?
Choice. People have so many choices, they don't know what to pick. How many times have you been hungry, then you go into the refrigerator, you're so hungry, you don't know what to eat.
There's no food in here. My kids do it all the time.
There's no food. The whole place is full. Because
food everywhere.
I have too many choices.
Right. Wow.
Are you with your wife? What do you want to eat? What do you want to eat? I don't know. Just pick something. No, you pick something. I don't want to pick. And this is exactly what this swiping apps are like. You're deciding on a picture, your first name, and their age on who you want to marry. It doesn't work, guys. We're living in a world that you guys have been sold a bag of goods. You're drinking the Kool-Aid. And you're like, something's off. And I'm telling you, it's like, take a step back and look what they're feeding you. It's nonsense. All the stuff they're feeding you is on nonsense. The idea that there's a perfect sister out there that has like this, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. It's gone to a point that people are now trying to sell themselves as perfect. All these people with filters, even on Clubhouse that you saw, none of those people look like that. None of these people look like this. All these people, once you put them in, take off all their makeup and take off the guy's little filters on his videos, he's like, wait a second, what just happened to you?
Yeah.
What?
Exactly.
It's like they melted away. It's like we're sold a bag of goods. And remember, when they reduce you down to your picture, Now everybody knows I got one shot, one picture to get this person to stop swiping and swipe that opposite direction. So what are they going to do with the filters? They're going to modify it. They're going to tweak it. They're going to show a picture of themselves that's not even true. So this is what I looked like when I was 80 pounds ago. Yeah, it's like that kind of stuff. And then you see him in person, like, what happened? And the guy's like,
yeah, exactly.
I hope he doesn't eat everything.
Oh my God, that's true. That's true. I mean, so many people. I call it false advertisement, you know. And look, to be fair, men and women do it.
I just said men, yeah. Specifically, guys will
Yeah.
just throw up stuff that's not even true about themselves with the hopes that they can pull in the girls. And it's just like, honestly, I understand why men and women do it. Because everyone has raised the bar so high that me just being myself, I can't get anywhere. I have to tweak this. I have to fabricate this in order just to get my foot in the door. It's like in a world where no one's getting a job. People are lying on their resume, putting a bunch of stuff in places they never worked, things they never did, skill sets they don't have, just to get the foot in the door with the hopes that maybe if I get into a job interview, they'll give me a chance. But the reality is, once they get a job interview, they realize you don't have these skill sets, you don't have this experience, you don't have this education, and everything you've been telling us is a lie. So those factors alone is the reason why I pass on you. So sisters will do this as well. They show an image of themselves that's not true. Then they meet each other in person. The guy says, pass. Well, maybe he may have feelings for me, and once he catches feelings, he won't even care what I look like. You know, all these websites are designed by men or women. The women's sites are the ones that you can't see the person.
Yeah.
The men's sites is the exact opposite, where you can see the person, but you have no details about them. So it's kind of like both of them are failures. Because when the man sees you and there's no physical attraction, he's going to pass. I don't care how much feelings you think he has for you. Without physical attraction, it's not going to work. And for sisters, to be fair, they're the same. They just can't say it. If a sister talks about that physical attraction is important to her, she'll sound super superficial, and then she'll get judged by other women. So they can't say it. So they just stay quiet. No, I'm looking for his good personality, which isn't true.
Well,
They need physical attraction as well.
Absolutely. I mean, even what Rasulullah said, you know, look at the person that you're about to marry until you are pleased with what you see.
Yeah.
You know, so subhanAllah, I think there's, I mean, well, that's another thing, but I always talk about the women want the 666. We'll get into a little bit of this. They want the 666. They want to marry the Dajjal. So a 666 for people who don't know, that's the you know, I'm just joking. I'm joking.
I know.
But the 666.
Where's he going with the 666 thing?
That's a new thing that I make up. So 6 foot tall, 6 figures, 6 pack. That's the 666. And that goes probably to the third question I'm going to ask you. But real quick, I think a lot of people, women, and we're going to get into the men's side of this too. So, you know, girls don't you know, ladies don't worry. A lot of people, like you said, they wait on this checklist. Okay, Baba Ali, I have to have a man that's and they just go down the list, and he has to be this, and he has to do that. And I think a lot of people that have those type of checklists, whether they be men or women, but we'll go women in this instance, you want the guy that's 6 foot tall. You want the guy who has 6 figures. You want the guy with the 6 pack. But he doesn't want you. That's the thing where you have to separate yourself. You see, high value, like I said, you have the attraction, you have the attention of a lot of men. I'll say males, low value men, but that doesn't mean that you're going to get a good guy. And so they wait out for this, you know, the checklist that you and I have talked about hundreds of times, being on the wait list. And the thing is, high value men, ladies, high value men need something more than the shape of your body, what you look like, and what intimacy that you can fulfill. High value men say, okay, and then what? Because that's going to last, you know, however long it lasts. do you have a personality? Do you have,
Good
mommy,
character. Yeah.
your good character? Do you have, do you have mommy instincts? Do you have, this and that? And that's, sisters, that's what you're going to want anyways. You don't want somebody that's going to salivate over you. That's just a moment. That doesn't last forever. I
Yeah.
mean, what do you think, Ali?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, as I said, there's a quality that men are looking for women, and it's more than what it is just physical attraction. Physical attraction, men look at you in two different categories. They look at a temporary relationship or permanent relationship. And of course, as Muslims, we should only be looking at the permanent relationship. So if you're looking for a permanent relationship, you can't just look at physical attraction, which is important, but you need the character, that temperament, the personality, you need the femininity, you need all the things that make her amazing. It's not just one thing. Your outside appearance, as beautiful as you may be, it's just going to be normal after a certain point. We're talking about earlier chicken biryani or beef biryani. I don't care which biryani you like. If you're just eating chicken, breakfast, lunch, and dinner every single day for month after month after month, it's just chicken biryani, everybody. So, but the reality is, if it's more than just food, if it's more than just her beauty, it's the character, it's the personality. Because even what guys are all focused on intimacy before marriage, as soon as the intimacy portion is over, now you live with this person. You have to interact with this person. You have to eat with this person, connect with this person, have conversation with this person. A lot of people realized during the pandemic that there is no connection. It was such a superficial relationship. And that's one of the reasons I think we have a lot of people having divorces, is because they're so busy running around in their day lives, they never got a chance to really connect with one another. And when they got stuck together, when everything got shut down, they realized they don't have much of a connection. In fact, they have a conflict with one another. So all these people who married for superficial reasons, it all comes to the surface. At the beginning, during the honeymoon phase, everything's good. But as soon as you guys go to the phase of go to the situation where you guys can get your arguments, and every couple will, then you're going to see, does our relationship have any type of foundation that's going to keep us strong? Then attraction is not going to help you. It doesn't matter how handsome or how beautiful she is. If you guys are arguing and disagreeing, all that handsomeness and beauty goes out the window, literally. The most beautiful person in the world, or most handsome guy in the world, the first time they belittle you, they become the most ugliest person in your eyes. This is why you can marry somebody that looks very appealing to you, and it's the same person you divorce a year later. So I think we get caught up with those things, and because we're so infatuated with the person's surface things, or how successful he is, or how beautiful she is, we don't pay attention to the things that are really important. That's going to help us stay connected and stay married for 20 years.
SubhanAllah. Yeah. I just put a question on, well, not a question, a statement from Arabian Princess. Says it's about connection, understanding, and love. I kind of disagree with that. This is why. When, I call it like the Bollywood syndrome. If you focus on love, and this, oh baby girl, I made this mixtape for you. I dedicate these songs for you and everything. That's all good after marriage, but I'm talking about before marriage.
Yeah.
For me, the mistakes that I have made personally in my life, I would take companionship over love any day. Why? Because when you develop love, and by the way, this is before marriage, you're not supposed to be falling in love before marriage, because what if you're not compatible? What if you didn't bring the wali into the equation, so your male family members, your father, your brother, whoever, could really suss this guy out? Because men, like we say many times in Clubhouse and in our talks, we got game, and that game goes straight to the heart. And that's why women love songs, romantic movies, because it goes straight to their heart, and they say, but wait a minute, that's the wrong guy. You are a victim of game. You have just been gamed up and you don't know it. That's why the wali steps in and he says, okay, Romeo, slow down. I'll take it from here. What do you do for a living? How's your deen? Do you pray? Etc., etc. That's why I think love is so dangerous before marriage. I've seen so many people where they have maybe a different culture, or whatever it is, they fall in love with each other before, and then they find out, oh my God, it's going to be so difficult for us to be together. I'm going to have to leave my family. And oh my God, okay, I'll run away from with you. And the guy just wanted intimacy. You've been gamed up, and now you have upset your family. Your virginity is gone, maybe even a kid on the way after that. And where do you go from there? You didn't involve the wali, you fell in love. And love before marriage will have you saying, thinking, and doing some entirely stupid things.
And love is not going to help you when you guys disagree with one another. Love is not going to help you when you guys are in arguments with one another. When you're mad at
Yeah.
him, all that love goes out the window. Right now, in the lovey-dovey mode, ask yourself, when you're in that situation, you think to yourself, wow, why did we even fight? Well, I can't imagine him fighting ever with you. We're so perfect with one another. And then when you flip the script and you turn the tables, and when you're angry at him, I can never be friends with him again. I can never have that feelings with him again. I can't stand this person ever. Like I wish I never saw this person again. When you're angry, it goes from one extreme to the other, and love is not enough. If love was enough, why is 50% of relationships for non-Muslims going to end up in divorce? It's not enough. You need stuff that's going to fall down. You need stuff that's going to be like, for example, like when me and my wife are arguing, I sometimes say sorry, even though I don't mean it, even though I think I was right. Why? Because I'm doing it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not for her. At that moment, I'm really angry at her. I think she's say something that's hurtful, or she's completely wrong in what she's saying. But I will make the peace because I want the forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, that's what I'm saying. That's the deen is now the foundation. Now, of course, I don't tell her that when I'm arguing with her, but that's where you need that strongness of that. You need that peace that comes with that. But how are you going to have peace if you don't have Islam? Where are you going to get that forgiveness from?
Exactly. And how are you going to have understanding? I think she said understanding in the other comment. You have to have understanding. And this is the thing, you know this better than me, but I think that people, when they look for their spouses, especially when, you know, you're in the beginning stage, they don't focus on, they just focus on the physicalities or, you know, the deen. Oh yeah. But listen, I don't care if you're on halfdeen.com. I don't care if you're meeting somebody personally. That person that you're talking to is going to present the best version of themselves while that meeting is there. You'll rarely have somebody saying, okay, mashallah, you have deen, pray 5 times a day. What's something negative that you struggle with in your life? What's something that you're not proud about yourself that you really want to fix? But my name is Romeo. I'm perfect. I'm the love of your life. Wait a minute. No, negativity? No, there is no negativity. Mashallah, sister, I'm perfect. Yeah, but come on. What do you think about that?
Yeah, look, we men, the way we get to you is through your ears. We know by the right words to say, we just make you melt. And there's nothing you can do about it. You can't resist it. Now, sisters, they know men get through to them through their eyes. And that's why women, physically, they understand that if I look a certain way, I can pull in a certain person. Now, what women do with makeup is the same way men will do with their words. They fabricate it to tell the person what they want to hear. They're both versions of lying or deception. The man will say certain things he doesn't really mean. She looks a certain with makeup that's not really her, because they both know this is the way that we draw the opposite gender in. It's a form of deception, to say the least. But nevertheless, when all that makeup melts, when all his words go away, what do you have now? And that's why the sincerity is super important. Like, who am I really marrying? If you raise the bar so high that nobody can ever mention their weaknesses, because you're just going to keep passing on anyone that has even the slightest weakness, then you're going to surround yourself with a person who lies to you. Every single one of us has weaknesses. So you have to be careful. Like, one of the things that for the sisters who are watching this show, I will give you one of the recommendations I've always said in many of my videos and in as well as in my clubhouse rooms, is come up with questions that don't have right or wrong answers and send those to the brothers you're speaking to. Because when you do that, he can't tell you what you want to hear, because both answers sound correct. Like, for example, are you more fair or are you more forgiving? Are you more of a forgiving husband or more of a fair and just husband? He doesn't know if you want to, if being fair is more important to you or being forgiving is more important to you. You know what your preference is. He doesn't. And because both answers like 50-50, that's how you can get to really see what you're speaking to. Or you ask questions that really don't have right or wrong answers. Like, for example, if you came with the warning label, what would the warning label say? Tell me one time you disappointed your parents. Well, when you're at your worst, what does your worst look like? Sorry about that. It could be a whole bunch of things that causes it. So it's like you can ask the right questions to try to figure out who you're really speaking to. But if you're asking all these questions where people can just lie to you with, hey, tell me, are you...
I think he's getting a call. You getting a call, bro? Let's see. I think...
Yeah, I'm back again. Yes, there we go. So I don't know, maybe something happened here on this side. I apologize for that. So yeah, asking the right questions will help you filter out the people so you don't waste time with people. And unfortunately, a lot of sisters end up spending a lot of time with men stringing them along. If the guy's not speaking to your wali in the early stages, he's not serious. If the guy's trying to think about if you're really a good connection with them, he's not serious. It only takes a man a certain amount of time to figure out. And before you say, oh, men have commitment issues, this brother who's wearing the Raiders hat, ask him how long he's been a Raiders fan for. That's commitment.
Life. I don't care if we're 0-10 for 10
there
years.
You go. So men don't have commitment issues. If you're in the UK and you're watching Manchester U or your Liverpool or whatever your team is, your life, you don't come out. And this is even the bad men. Let's talk about that for a second. The bad men, and there's plenty of them. How many of them are initiating divorce? So they are not against commitment. In fact, they're overcommitted sometimes. Sometimes they should initiate divorce. They don't. So what happens in these situations is the man's going to stick it through. And that's the reality of it. Even if he's good or bad, he's most likely going to stick it through. He's not going to dump you and just let me go marry somebody else. Does it happen? Yes, it does. But those are more the exceptions than the norm. There's a lot of men who are in miserable marriages. They put their head down. They just go and work and just go whatever. And what we men do when we're miserable marriages is we completely disconnect. You get the bare minimum from us. We just be quiet. We're totally disconnected from us, from communication-wise with us. We just put our head down. We just eat. We're just like a zombie version of ourselves.
What's the opposite of that, Ali? How do you push your man to be at his greatest, at maximum capacity?
Oh, very easy. Make him feel appreciated. This is oftentimes sisters confused by saying, hey, I know what he needs. He just needs more love from me, because as long as he feels loved, he wants to do more. That's not true. He needs to feel appreciated. He needs to feel respected. That is the core of a man. Go to any prison and ask them, which group do you guys need to try to get love? They don't care. They care about respect. Any prison is about you respecting them, this person respecting me, and a disrespect will cause a fight in the prison. Who's making these rules? Men, because it's a male-only society, which is a prison. So men, respect is the highest currency for them. Appreciation is the most highest currency. Make your husband feel appreciated. How do I make him feel appreciated? A little bit less I love yous and more I appreciate you. Now, what you're first going to do is, no, that's not what I want. I wouldn't want that. Well, do you want to marry a female or do you want to marry a male? Females are the opposite. I don't tell my wife, I respect you. I respect you. No, that doesn't mean as much as the words, I love you. For a female, you need to make her feel loved. And whatever you do with the female, like you give her love, she literally multiplies and gives it right back to you. She doesn't even give you 1-to-1 ratio. She multiplies anything you give her. If you give her negativity, she multiplies it times 10 and gives it back to you. And whatever energy you give her, she multiplies, which is great, by the way. It's an amazing bank account, isn't it? Everything comes back multiplied, except for one little thing, is that every morning that you check your account, your bank account says triple zeros, because you have to start over every day. So it doesn't matter if I told you I love you a month ago. It means nothing now. We start over today.
The point system. I remember your point system.
The point system. So every day start over.
We'll get into that after this. I remember something that you said in Clubhouse that was so powerful about understanding men, about women understanding men, about a wife understanding her husband. You said, and this is personal, that you shared on Clubhouse. You said, my wife and I can get in a fight and we can argue and we could not speak to each other. But my wife knows, your wife, that she only needs to say 3 words.
Yep.
I need you.
That's it. It's game over. I can't. I'm helpless when she says that. I'm helpless. Because sisters, if you understand how the male mind works, a man, if you look, men, why is there such a high suicide rate among men in non-Muslims in our world today? More than women. Now, women are more antidepressants, but men are more suicide. Why? What does this cause these men to commit suicide? What does make men to completely feel disconnected? What makes men not want to get married? I'll give you the answer. And what makes men, the same answer will get you to end your argument pretty quickly. It's all you have to do is understand how men think and stop trying to force them to be a female. Understand how they think is, understand that they're the opposite of you. Men need to feel needed. They need to feel appreciated. The word, when I say I need you, when society says we need you, then men feel like I'm ready to step up. Whatever I was doing, I'll do times 10 now. That's it. Simple as that.
That's how skyscrapers are built. That's why wars are fought, is because the society needs us, and we say, "Oh yeah, that ain't nothing but a word, man. I'm there. What do you need?" Even if it costs us our life in battle, we will do it because our women need us.
Yep. And then that's why this guy wakes up in the morning and goes to the coal mine or picks up trash at 5 a.m. He feels like he's needed in society. But today's women, many of them, not all of them, but many of them today will say, we don't need you.
That's another thing, right?
That's what makes men feel like this, okay, then I don't need to get married. And then the same sister will come and say, where are the good men? Well, you just told them you don't need them. Well, I never said that. Yes, you did. You said it in his language, not in your language. In his language, when you say I'm independent, which is a lie, by the way, you're not independent. The only thing that's independent is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The rest of us are dependent.
You know, Ali, we've talked a lot about strong, independent career women. I think a problem today, and you know, for the people that are going to watch this, that are watching this, by the way, Ricky Colon, thanks for the super sticker. I think one of the problems is we really don't understand each other, and we're not trying to understand each other from a man's point of view or a woman's point of view. Like you said, we're expecting women to think like men, and the women are expecting us to think like women. It just doesn't work that way, you know. And I just think that when a woman says I'm strong, independent woman, like you said, the man says, but wait a minute, those are all the things that I want to give to you. I want to give you my protection. I want to give you leadership. I want to provide and protect you and take care of you financially for the rest of my life. I actually need those things to feel like a man. And it upsets me so much when women say, well, you know, being a housewife is really not my cup of tea. And so they take on this, some women, they take on this type of masculine fake personification. And it drives away real men. It really does. And one last thing, I just don't believe, and it upsets me that women think that being vulnerable, being feminine, being in love with being a woman, those are all strengths. So if my wife comes to me and I'm just like, oh man, I am mad. And if my wife just says, Ali, calm down. I need you. I don't care what type of mood I'm in. I'm going to shut it down for her. She has that power over me when she steps into her feminine energy. I don't care what mood I'm in. Even if I'm mad at her, if she did something wrong and she is calm and she lets her femininity shine and her gentleness and understanding and agreeableness, I'm powerless. by default, I'm going to calm down and I'm going to start to, okay, yeah, okay. Now I'm going to start to listen. I really don't see that a lot of these type of women falling in love with being feminine women. What do you think?
Because society has told them that it's your masculine, that's where you get the power in. And you just have to, you can be feminine once you get married, and you might find the right person. Until then, stay masculine. And I want you guys to flip the script for one moment and say, okay, this man is a very feminine man. He has a lot of feminine qualities, more than other women do. So he says he'll become masculine once he gets married to you. It's a hard sell, and it's a lot of people are just not buying it. So the whole feminine masculine thing, I think it's so confusing for a lot of people that they don't even know what feminine masculine even is anymore. A lot of times I've been in rooms with you, and we can imagine how many times I've been asked by females, can you explain to me what femininity is? Which is such a strange concept for me, because I've been asked, what, 5-10 times at least? Can you please explain femininity? Every single time I've been asked is by females. And I'm like, I would never, ever ask a female, can you explain masculinity to me? The very fact that I'm asking you tells me I have no idea what masculinity is.
Boom.
So, and that tells you how messed up our society is today, that the girls don't understand femininity whatsoever. A lot of brothers are not marrying sisters because of the lack of femininity of females out there. When they look, society has told you, and this is a lot to do with the certain movement, that if you look feminine.
Uh-oh, we lost him again. It must be the asteroid moving in on California, man. It's got to be the asteroid. We'll just wait for him, inshallah. Oh boy, it's a big asteroid this time. Okay, well, we'll wait for him to come back, inshallah. Maybe I need to. No, he has the link. Yeah, he'll come back, inshallah, once he gets it straightened out. So I guess we'll take a commercial. Yeah, is that what it was? We'll take a commercial break, inshallah. But this is the perfect opportunity to redirect everybody to EA Dawa. So everybody know about EA Dawa. It's right there. I see you, man. What's up, Khalil? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. EA Dawa has some excellent things going on. It's like every single day there's something going on. Friendly Muslim, Khalil's on there. I think if you go to EA Dawa on the YouTube stream, on the YouTube channel, you can find a number of, I mean, everything's going on. There's always lives, there's always videos. Let's see. How did I first find Islam? We'll get into that another time. Actually, I have the video on my channel, on my YouTube channel. You can go and check it out. There's actually two. One is in depth and one is kind of general. I think Ali's coming back. There he is.
So I'm going to switch to a different camera because this will hopefully have no more issues.
I was worried that the asteroid hit California, man.
I know, seriously. You're not going to have any more issues on this side, inshallah. So we're going to talk about the femininity, masculinity thing for a second. Is a lot of times there's a lot of confusion with it. And I'll simplify it for the sisters who are listening, because some of you are probably wondering, can you please tell me what femininity is? Femininity is the ability of taking anything and making it more beautiful. There's a softness that comes with it that men don't have. They can't emulate. So whatever they try to do it, even when you see it in homosexual relationships, you see that there's a guy version, there's a female version. There's a guy version who's trying to emulate the female femininity. And even he cannot do it like women can. It's something that's built in you. That vulnerability, that softness, that kindness, that openness that you have with you, we men don't have. And the very fact that you can carry that makes us like Superman versus Kryptonite. There's nothing we can do with all our physical strength, all our power, all our whatever we have within society. We are so weakness. And when we see a feminine woman, the masculine man is attracted to it. Masculinity and femininity are attracted to each other like two sides of a magnet. Now, the opposite happens, sisters. When you have masculine energy and you don't even realize that you have it, you tend to attract the feminine man. And this is why you see a lot of strong women with soft men, because that's, again, that femininity and the masculinity are like two magnets attracted to each other.
Okay, so
it's just-
let's stop there, because there's a lot of women out there that are going to say, "What's wrong with that? What's wrong with
Nothing
me
wrong
being
with that. As long
strong?"
as you're okay with a husband like that, that's fine. You're going to get a husband that you're going to say, "Oh, what type of husband is this?" Like, it's the type of
Here's the
husband
question,
that
though.
he cries. There's nothing wrong with him crying, of course, because society today, because these are the type of men you guys have, you have a plenty of criers.
Mm.
You have a guy who's very emotional, right? And his
touch with
emotions, you're like,
feminine
okay, I
side.
like an emotional husband. Oh, what are emotions, guys? Not the very fact that he cries. What are the other emotions that you don't like? Jealousy, anger. Those are all emotions. And a strong man, masculine man, has to absorb a lot of the negative, a lot of the emotions of his wife, and not respond with it. That's masculinity. It is not easy. And a lot of sisters, just imagine if I tell you to absorb and absorb, absorb. You will eventually say, I give up, I blow up. But we men are supposed to be like mountains. And our wives are like an ocean that's hitting against this mountain. The mountain has to stand firm. So no matter what emotion she throws at me, I cannot respond with the same emotion. I cannot, if she's yelling at me or saying things she doesn't mean, I should be able to hold back as much as possible before I respond to her. If she says, give me a divorce and blah, blah, I don't rush to those type of things. I have to be analytical and be practical and not respond to emotion with emotion. That's masculinity. The other parts of masculinity is a man who's ambitious, who tries, who doesn't give up, who doesn't come home and say, I'm just have a bad work day, and just look sad and crying all day. You know, the simpy man who tells you whatever you want to hear. How many of you guys, sisters, love that? Who are very strong women married to a very agreeable man? Yes, honey. Anything you say, honey. Yes.
Oh,
Everything you say, honey. It's like you get that a lot from these men. And the sisters, they cannot stand a husband who's highly agreeable, because they know with that agreeableness, there's no sincerity. There's a side of you that really disagrees, but you're just too coward to say it because you just want to keep the peace, because I don't want her to be mad at me. I'll just stay quiet. No, she'll respect you more if you disagree with her and be sincere rather than just say, yes, honey, everything you say, honey, everything you say, honey. She doesn't respect you. And a lot of sisters today don't respect their husbands.
yeah.
Those men that you want to be strong, all these words that you describe yourself as, the reason why you describe yourself during the courtship phase is because these are the attributes that you're attracted to, not him, you. Strong, independent. When was the last time I heard a brother say, I'm looking for a strong sister? Any man who says that is probably a very weak individual. That's why he needs strength to protect them. Today, sisters, you are surrounded with what? You're surrounded with 50-50 brothers? How about 50% you, 50% me? Da, 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 da. And you're like, wait a second, where's that man? So when I know sisters are using these words, but they don't understand that those words have a different meaning to us. What they really are supposed to be saying, instead of independent, say the word resilient. That's a far more attractive word to say, listen, I can go through a lot of stuff and I can be strong. I can last through it, because that's really what you're trying to say. You're not trying to say, I don't need you, because independent literally means I don't need you. It's independent from everything. The only thing is independent is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's the only one. Everybody else is dependent. You're dependent on me. I'm independent on you. We men, I'll tell you, as much as I've been talking about the sisters, I'll tell you directly as well. I'm not trying to make us sound too strong. We men need you. Like men need women.
100%.
We need each other. We're not going to lie about it. You never hear women say, oh, we need you, because that makes you feel weak. Well, I say we need you. That's not making us weak. We're all interdependent on each other. We need you and you need us. As long as you continue lying to the world and talking about how happy you are, that I don't need anybody, you're lying to yourself. The very fact that people have to get on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and all the other TikToks and talk about how happy they are, no one believes you. Nobody believes you. Because if you were really,
you don't believe yourself.
You don't have to even make a video about it.
I I don't even think that you believe it yourself. You
No,
know
of
this.
course they don't believe. That's why I have to sit there and make a video to try to convince the world. And everyone's like this. I feel bad for her. You know, that's the reality of it. Even the independent sisters are feeling like, man, at least I don't make videos about it. It's like, what are you
Exactly.
thinking?
I think that's a reason why, these type of women, I mean good women, they make rules for betas and they break them for alphas.
Yep.
That's the main reason. They want men. That's the battle cry that I'm always hearing. Where are all the real men at? Well, we're there, but you have to accept who we are and how we think for us to be those type of men for you. So
Yeah.
we'll get into,
And
guys, that was one question. We'll get into two. This is number two. Okay. So the second thing, the point that we wanted to talk about was women claim they want a man who is emotionally vulnerable, but they don't. Explain that.
they don't. They when they say emotion vulnerable, they're just saying, I want him to communicate his emotion. I want him to show that he loves me, he cares. I want to see him sometimes cry, that he cares. I don't like a guy like this. But the reality is, the man who doesn't show emotions, there's pluses and minuses of it. First of all, we're not emotional creatures like you. We're not going to react to emotionally to things like you. That's a plus of it. The men who are less emotional are going to be less temperamental. And when he holds back anger, when he holds back jealousy, when he holds back words that will really, really hurt you, because you can say stuff to him and one day he'll just let it go, right? That's why guys can tease each other and they don't mean it. And that's the same reason why girls can't call each other fat or make jokes about age and stuff like that, because women tend to hold on to those things. So imagine a husband who's really mad at you because you hurt him really verbally, and he responds to you with the same harshness that you're responding to him. How long do you think that relationship is going to last for? You need a husband that's going to stay strong and who's going to take it in. Now, because he has to take it in, he's not going to be able to show his emotions whenever you need him to show his emotions. That's part of the negative side of letting the man be a man. And you can't have it both ways. You can't have a male body with a female mind. That's not going to work. Again,
Right.
If you want him to be showing emotions, you can't just pick and choose which emotions. He's going to show you all the emotions. And some of the other emotions that you do not want to see, then you can't take it back. I think a lot of sisters would rather have a strong husband who holds it in and takes it in, rather than a guy who just like, okay, like I was in a room one time, of a clubhouse room, and the sister was talking about, it was nothing wrong with my husband crying. I said, okay, your husband comes home and had a bad day. Is it okay for him to cry? Yeah, what's wrong with that? Okay. If he had a bad week and he cries Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, is that okay? He's watching a TV show, he cries. You go to the party, he cries. You go to so-and-so, you're having dinner, he sees some beautiful dish in front of him, he starts crying. He got a I love you note from you, he just starts crying. Everyone knows you. Oh, you're married to so-and-so, the crying husband. How's that going for you? For your Eid gift, you guys got a box of tissues. How's that?
Exactly. I think that's part of the reason why men, like, imagine all the traumas that we face, warfare. So when warfare is happening, it's not time for emotions. It's time to do what you do in war, right? So, but afterwards, you have men, after they've seen body parts flying all over the place and their buddies get killed in combat.
I don't want a guy crying next to me.
Exactly. I mean, I won't go into that story.
You got my back. I got my back. I look behind the guy behind there. What are you doing? I'm crying.
I don't like the way this war is going. That's the thing. We men.
Do you think we're hurting their feelings?
Yeah. We're not being inclusive, is what it is. That's what it is.
Society has just been told that anything to do with masculinity is toxic. And that's why a lot of men have not decided, they're just young men, they don't know any better. And then you have people going to two different directions. You have a lot of soft men, and those same sisters who are complaining about these men being emotional. None of these sisters are marrying these emotional guys. Have you noticed that? There's a lot of emotional brothers, sisters available. Sisters, if you're looking to get married, a lot of them. A lot of those criers you guys are looking forward to. I want those guys to cry. There's plenty of them. But they're also, no one's marrying them. There are future.
They're in the friend zone on the man waiting list. That's where they're at.
Exactly. So what happens is men got sick and tired of this. So anyone who comes with the opposite message, people gravitate towards him, even if he's an unjust person, even if he's vulgar, even if he's mean, even if he's whatever. What do you think happened to society when, I'm not a Donald Trump fan, but when Donald Trump came, was unapologetic, was mean, was tough, but was very quote unquote masculine in his attitude, a lot of people gravitate towards him. Half the country voted for him. Women were completely shocked. Even women first time voted for him. Why? Because they got tired and sick and tired of the soft man. Now, is he a good person? Not at all. But what happened is he drew in a lot of people by look at Andrew Tate. Look at Kevin Samuels. You guys think it's a coincidence that all these men are suddenly attracted toward these movements? And if it doesn't matter if those people go away, new people will replace them. So the more you make men softer, you're going to gravitate, you're going to polarize these men that no one's going to be in the middle anymore. You're going to either be super alpha, and not even alpha, you can be vulgar alpha, or you can be super softy feminine where he's more girly than you are. And then you're never going to marry those guys. There's plenty of guys looking to get married. You just don't marry them. They're in your friend zone.
Even with Kevin Samuels, it's like 100% of the people that call in are ladies. Like, what do I do? What am I doing wrong? What do I need to do in this instant or do in that instant? You know, that's got to count for something. And I think that it's because masculinity and femininity and relationships and problem solving is just non-existent before marriage.
Yeah.
You know, we'll get into our last segment here, and boy, this could be a big one. But your unrealistic expectations are keeping you single. Explain, Baba Ali.
Yeah, so a lot of people have these expectations of what they want. They just don't like hearing the stats and data, right? So a lot of brothers, I'm looking for a Victoria's Secret sister who wears niqab. Okay, I hope you find it, brother. I'm looking for a sister who's very beautiful, this and this and this. Brother, you want this sister with all this beauty, but you know that beauty comes with a cost? For example, her being stylish is very fantastic. How much do you think it costs for a sister to be stylish? How much do you think it costs for skincare? Something we men have nothing to do with. How much do you think it's going to cost for her makeup? How much do you think it costs for this? How much do you think it costs? When you add all these things up and the effort that's involved, which takes time of her just staying in shape and all the other things, that's a lot. Now, a woman who has all of these things and has been accustomed to that type of lifestyle, it's hard for her to downgrade to what you want while still trying to keep that same beauty that attracted you to her. That's the part that men don't realize. On the sister side, you have stuff that you say, I want a husband who's this, 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 this. Okay. As soon as you choose a husband for a height, for example, because you're attracted to someone who's taller than you, you want a husband who's more educated than you, the person who's this and more than you, this and this and this and this, and for you, your reduction, your filters reduce you sometimes down to zero. So let me give you an example. Let's say you're on a website, and the website lets you filter any type of man in the world. You can click on a button, and everyone under this height and below will disappear from the website just by clicking on a button. And then I need a certain amount of education. Then I need a certain look and certain this. And you've already reached down to like 4 people, and then you click on the button. Oh, he also has to be religious. And you click on that button, it says your results are 0. The reason why is because you put in so many filters until you get results get to 0. And let me tell you, brothers and sisters, how we're so different from each other. Women naturally hypergamy. Which means what? Which means you're attracted to something more than you. That is why, sisters, you want a husband who makes more than you. You want a husband who's taller than you. You want a husband who's emotionally more stable than you. If you're indecisive, you want a husband who's decisive. If you have like lack of confidence, you're attracted to confidence. Men who are lacking confidence are attracted to sisters who have confidence. Women who are very dependent are attracted to men who are independent. Sisters who physically feel not as strong are attracted to strength. The more you have the opposite, the more you're attracted to the opposite. So if you're short, you like tall, right? So the more sisters want more than whatever they are. Now here comes the situation. Let's say in society, and let's just say height as an example, just as an example. Let's say society allows you to take a pill. When you take this pill, you can grow another inch. And people pop in these pills and they grow. Women are growing so tall now that they try to choose from brothers, and the pool of candidates are so small because how many guys are 6'7" and above, 6'9" and above, 7'5" and above? Because of hypergamy, that you need to marry something more than you. As you become more, your pool of candidates become less. So now with this less of pool of candidates, you still want an amazing, amazing husband among these pool. You don't have that option because everybody are looking at the same pool of candidates. You have other things that you do that makes it more difficult upon yourself. You say, okay, I'm going to take a break now for a little bit. I'm going to stop looking. I've been looking for this long. I've been talking to this guy. Didn't work out. I'm going to take a 6-month break. Well, when you take a 6-month break and you're 29 and now you're 30 years old, your 6 months costs you a lot. A guy can stop at 29. He can get married at 30, 33, 35, 37, 40, 45. I'm 48 now. If I was single, I can still get married. How many sisters at 48 are having a hard time getting married? In fact, sisters at 35 years old, 33 years old, having a hard time getting married. And you say, wait, this isn't fair. Well, it kind of is. If you reverse the tables, a guy who's 21, 22, who really wants to get married, he can't. No one's going to marry him. 25-year-old sister won't marry him. 28-year-old sister won't marry him. 33-year-old sister won't marry him. Even the 22, 21-year-old sister is like, well, you're still kind of just finished school and you don't really just got your first job and you really are lacking the maturity that I'm looking for and blah, 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 blah. And you're not marriage material. That 22-year-old sister is going to marry a 26-year-old guy, a 27-year-old guy, right? They're going to marry 4 or 5 years older than them. These guys are told to just eat crow and just wait it out. Fast, brother. Inshallah, fast. And then you're supposed to fast for 5-7 years. Like Ramadan's 30 days. Now you're supposed to fast like years until you're like 27, 28. Finally, the guy says, fine, I can't get married. And his hormone level is far more than yours. He has to fast and has to resist. And literally everything around him is fitna, lower your gaze. Don't watch this, don't see this, everything, whatever. And just work hard and save and save and save and save. And he finally does. It finally gets to that magical age of 32, 33, 34. Now he can marry anyone he wants. But the confused sister who happens to be 34 years old says, well, I'm looking for a husband my age. Well, that's great. Doesn't matter what you're looking for. That 34-year-old husband is not looking for you. That 34 is not looking for 27, 28. In fact, any age he can get. But wait, why shouldn't he marry me? Well, you could have got married anytime you wanted beforehand, but that was working on my career. That's your choice. He didn't have a choice. He would have got married at 22.
Stop. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that gap real quick where...
Don't get me going.
Yeah, let's talk about that gap because a lot of sisters... Listen, disclaimer. We've always said this, Ali and myself. We are never against a woman getting educated.
Of course
not. My wife, for God's sake, has 2 degrees. I have no degrees at all, right? We're not against you having a career or getting money or winning or having your cars and your houses or whatever, but we're talking about a gap where you focus on these things and you totally limit yourself from marriage. Now, like Ali said, that 22-year-old that is like, what about me? He's not going to get anything. Not like you said, not even the sister that is his age will look at him because that 22-year-old sister is looking for somebody, like you said, 26, even 28, that's established. He's got his bank account. He's good to go. He's more wise. He's more experienced. He's had more education on his deen, maybe more maturity. So he's out. That 22-year-old is out. So this is the thing. We men, we concentrate on our careers and our education in that time. So women is kind of like the reverse. You should be, get your education, have your skill, whatever you want, but don't close yourself off from marriage in the sweet zone. Because like I said, like Ali said, that 32-year-old guy that's established, he's got his, his education and career, he can pick whoever he wants. He can pick somebody that's 32. He can pick somebody that's 21. Hell, he could even pick somebody that's 18, and that 18-year-old maybe will say, yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, I've been looking for somebody like you. But call it unfair, just like Ali said, call it unfair, call it whatever you want. We are talking about reality and the numbers. I'm sorry. A 32-year-old sister.
The sister
Right.
who's 22, she can marry whoever she wants. She
Yep.
can make it 25, 29, 31. She can marry a 48-year-old if she wants to. Up to her.
Yep.
The 22-year-old doesn't have that. He can say this, cry the same thing and say, "Hey, there's not fair for me." So we're both have the same situation where we're kind of stuck in. Who's crying out for us? But we men are supposed to just like deal with it. Now you can't say obviously to a sister, deal with it. But the 34-year-old sister is living in a fantasy world where she's waiting for the 34-year-old guy who's interested in her. Because he's been told to wait 10 years and wait and wait and wait. 10 years is a long time. If I told you to wait 10 years right now, sister, and somebody maybe will come, you're not even guaranteed that. Would you wait 10 years right now, or would you do something? So for the men, I understand where the sisters are coming from. They're like, okay, I had to focus on my job, my career, my this and that. That's fantastic. Those were your choices. But it's not just educated. You're not going to school until you're 32 years old, unless you're a brain surgeon. So there was a point of time where you could have got married, but you didn't. Now, time has gone, past bygones has been bygones. Now that you're the age of marriage, what I'm trying to say is you will have to compromise on things that your friends will tell you don't have to compromise. Your friends are lying to you. Your friends like, just make dua and just pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give me the Prince Charming and then knock on my door. Oh, Prince Charming, where are you, my friend? Where are you? And he's not coming. There's no Prince Charming coming. You hear this? That's not Prince Charming. That's me knocking on this table. The reality is that you guys are living in a fantasy world with your friends are telling you this nonsense, and those friends are either single or living in their own fantasy world. So listen to a guy, and let me tell you how guys think. Guy at this age are naturally going to marry the best possible situation they can marry. Just like a 22-year-old girl could marry anyone she wants. Why would she go to some situation she doesn't need to go to? Well, somebody has to marry her. I want you guys to imagine for a moment that the government is giving everyone free cars. Pick any car in any lot of any model. Go pick it. And everyone gets a free car. And all these used car salespeople and all these whatever new car salesmen, they're all excited because everyone has this check, a blank check to go to any dealership and like a coupon and get any car you want. Some people rush to the Mercedes dealership. Some go to the Tesla. Some people go to the BMWs, whatever your car is, right? And someone's like, well, somebody has to buy the 1994 Honda. Is that the strategy of trying to get the guys together? Well, how is that strategy working for you so far? It doesn't work.
No, the ones that don't buy that 1994 Honda, they're just hating. Those are trash people anyways that don't want to buy this car.
Exactly. And they say, oh, these guys are terrible because they don't want to buy this thing. No. The reality is you can't pick any driver you want. So you have to say, what is the best driver I can get? So to a point, which these words, and I'm sorry, I'm going to use the S word here, that some sisters don't want to hear. And I think we're on YouTube, so hopefully it doesn't get censored. But you'll have to settle. You have to look and say, is this good enough? I know those two words you don't want to hear. Good enough. Is he good enough? Does he have everything I want? No, he doesn't. Is he good enough? Yes, he is. Sometimes when you want to go buy a home, you say, I wish I want to have a home that's like this and it has this, has this, has this. Yes, you have a dream list of all the stuff you want in a home. And you're like, I'm not going to get a home until it has everything at the price I want. Well, okay, that's fine. But don't complain about being homeless because you had many opportunities to buy a home had all these things, but didn't have all 4 bedrooms and didn't have the swimming pool and didn't have this. Each of them is lacking something. You are lacking something. I am lacking something. Are you content with what this house is lacking? And if you're content with it, you are by far the most wealthiest person. People who are content in this life with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them are happy people, not the people who have more. In our society, we have very, very rich people who are very, very depressed and sad. You go to third world continents. My wife is from Africa. You go to certain parts of Africa, the kid has nothing, but he's smiling and he's happy because he's content with what he has. We live in a very rich world today. Oh my gosh, I only have the iPhone 13 Pro and my life is miserable. Well, that's because you're not content with the simple things in life. If you find someone that's good and solid and fulfills your needs, good husband, wife, whatever the situation is, and you're even with the flaws that come with them and you're content, then you're the richest person in the world. You're happy. And it doesn't matter what your friends think. But we're so caught up in trying to impress our people, impress our friends, impress our family. We're almost getting married for them. instead of getting married for ourselves. And that's why a lot of sisters who may be open to marrying someone younger than them say, no, what would the people think? What would the people say? So you'd rather be single because you're worried about what the people will say. Well, skip all those people. Who are they? Focus on you. Focus on what only one you should care about is what Allah thinks of you. Simple as that. Everybody else can eat dirt and kick rocks. I don't care. That's not how I thought. You think I would marry outside my ethnicity if I thought what everybody was going to care? I didn't care. I thought I married someone sister with deen. I've been married for 20 plus years now, 21 years plus. And as far as the college thing we were just referring to earlier regarding women getting educated, both of my kids started college early. My youngest daughter started college at 15 years old. They're both female. So if I didn't care about college and I think education is important, why would I push them to be educated? And that's what I'm saying. It's kind of like people take something that you may say and they think the exact opposite. Oh, because you're saying career and education. No. When the way you carry yourself when you're talking about your career is what turns sometimes men off. And let me explain because you don't see it because you're not sitting across from you. When you're talking about your career like it's your husband, the guy looks at you the same way you would look at somebody else if you can be his second wife. And most of you don't want to be a second wife. So when you're talking about your career and this is what makes you happy, this is what you're content with, I don't really need anybody in my life, this is what makes me happy, all blah, 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 blah. Fantastic. You're married. You're good. Assalamu alaikum. See you later. Right? Yeah. See you later.
Exactly.
If I sat across it from a sister, she talked about how happy she is and all I think, remember, a male, think of the male mind. He's thinking that I need to be valued here. How do men value themselves? Not the quality of the relationships. That's how female values themselves. The way we men value ourselves is based on our problem-solving skills. What can I do to fix? What can I do to help? What can I do to provide? What can I do to protect? What can I sacrifice for her to bring her up? That's why we marry down. We don't marry up. If we married up, we'd be very problematic, wouldn't it be, sisters? Because nobody would get married. While you guys are all hypergamy marrying up, we all men are marrying down. Now, what do you do when you marry down? You marry down so you can bring it up. That's what we men do. We sacrifice our age, our mentality, our emotions, our everything, our tiredness, everything. We sacrifice everything just for you.
Yeah.
Even our life. Even if it comes to protecting you, we will sacrifice our life to protect you, to provide for you. That's a real man. And where we're lacking today is because we have made that qualities as a very negative thing. It's toxic. And a lot of weak men listen to this nonsense because they were raised without a man in their life. So they don't know any better. So their mothers who had made poor choices, unfortunately, and they got divorced. The child grows up realizing this father was a very negative thing on my mother. And I'm going to be the opposite. I'm going to become the male feminist to protect women like my mom. And then that daughter sees the mother and says, my mom never had all the options that I have. She has options for education, has the options to make money, had all these options. My mom says, you know what? I sacrificed all those things for you to raise you two. So do what I couldn't do. So give up this whole marriage idea at a young age. Give up all these things. Don't have kids, amazing kids like I did. Instead, go work on all the things I didn't get. And you're like, yes, mom, I'll do that. And you go do that. And then you're done. And you're like, okay, I got the career. I got the piece of paper you wanted, mom. Here's a bachelor's. Here's a master's. I even threw in an associate's degree for you. I got all of that for you. And I got a career and I'm making good money. Your mom's like, mashallah, mashallah. And you're so happy. And you're like, okay, mom, but I don't feel fulfilled. Says, well, what else do you want? I want what you had, mom. I want the happiness that you have. Like, you got us, and would you trade us in for those things? And your mom will say, of course I wouldn't. But then how come you asked me to trade it in? And then your mom will stay quiet. Because you can't have it both. They sell this idea to you that you can have it both, but you can't. And you sisters, you know that. You know, any man who's telling you to do 50-50, he's not telling you to do 50-50. He's telling you 50-50 of his responsibilities of providing 50-50, but then he's expecting you to come home and do 100% of your responsibilities. So it's 150 for you and 50% for him. And you know that's what the real deal is. We just don't say it. That's the real deal. And that's not fair. And it's not balanced. So if a man is asking for 50-50, then he should be taking 50% of her responsibilities when she gets home too. That's true 50-50. But those men don't do that. You know why they don't do that? Because that same masculinity that you say is so toxic, that same instinct that you say is such a bad thing, of that being such a strong man and having the instinct to provide and protect, he doesn't have that anymore. So he has no problem with you doing 150 while he does 50 and plays video games. I hope you're not too tired, honey, because I want intimacy later. Playing his video game.
Last, she is going to lose major respect for this guy. Yeah. Major respect.
This is the kind of stuff, if you guys haven't subscribed to this show, subscribe to it, because you won't hear this stuff anywhere else, especially from Muslims. You get a lot of filtered content out there that just tell you what you want to hear for ratings. This is where you get the raw. Malky, click right here. You see that name under his thing? This is where you get the raw content. You get unfiltered. You hear it like it is. We live in a world where everything's being filtered to you. Everything's PC, politically correct. Here, we're not being PC. We're laying like it is. Yeah. So sometimes you don't like it because, oh, that part I didn't like it because you're talking negative about women. But right there, I flipped it right back and talked about all the stuff that men do. Oh, I don't like that part. Okay, it will go back and forth. But at least it's that part where we're not going to agree with you for the sake of agreeing. We're going to tell you like it is. These are two men telling you like what men talk about when women are not in the room. Because sisters, let me tell you something that you guys don't know. We men talk in a completely different way when the sisters are not in the room. And right now, I don't care what room sisters are in this room. I got two people in this room, just me and him. It's just me and you, bro. I don't care what people are here saying, thinking, whatever. Two men are talking like men talk, unfiltered. Say it like it is. And this is the real talk. So subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. So you don't want to miss any future of these shows, inshallah.
MashaAllah. Jazakallah khair. Let me go. We'll go male version and female version on this, just to give you a heads up. I'm going to give you 30 seconds. A 22-year-old woman comes to you crying, Baba Ali, I just don't know what to do. I'm picking the wrong people. I'm not reading the wrong people. What do I do? How do I get married? 30 seconds. Pick your words very, very carefully. This is the female version. What do you tell her? What is the top, the pinnacle of what you can tell that young lady within 30 seconds? What's the most important thing?
Where you're finding these men is going to determine what type of quality of men you're going to find. So if you're looking in the wrong places because everybody else is going that direction, you're going to have the same results as everybody else. If you want different results, do it differently than everybody else. That's the summarized version of it. If all your friends are on mismatch and salami and they're all failing, what do you think is going to happen to you? You're going to fail just like them. You have to go to a different approach. You have to take a different approach about it, and you'll get different results. Simple as that.
28-year-old man, young man comes to you, same thing. Nobody wants to marry me. Nobody's talking to me. I don't know if it's a cultural thing. I have a job, but it's, it's mid, it's, mediocre, and I need to marry. I want kids. I want to start a family. What do I do, Baba Ali?
So understand that females are attracted to success. And you have to have attributes of success, or at least potential that shows that you are on the direction of success. You don't need to be successful right now, but you need to show that you're going success. Now, women will look at certain characteristics of you that successful people have. A man who's confident, a man who's decisive, a man who's ambitious, a man who knows what he wants. If you lack any of these qualities and you don't have success, the sister's going to say a hard pass on you. But if you don't have success just yet, but you have those attributes, she says, oh, wow, this guy has the potential. One day he may be successful. I'm buying Bitcoin at $10 and one day it could be worth 40,000. So that's how she may be thinking, inshallah.
SubhanAllah. Okay, so we'll close out. But before we do that, I want to mention something. Like while we're here, we've got Baba Ali here. You do live events, and you and I have talked about these live events. I think you've been to, I don't know if you've been to London, but I know you've been to Canada, you've been on the East Coast, you do them in California. So what exactly are these events? What's the goal? How do you do it? How do you sign up? Give us the whole thing.
So many years ago, I struggled looking to get married, and I realized how hard it is to find somebody. So I built a website to try to change that. And alhamdulillah, it's been quite successful. Then after that, I thought to myself, people need to meet each other in person. There's plenty of people who live in the same city. They don't want to necessarily go online, but they need to see each other in person. And there's this human element to it when you're in the same room at the same time with different people. And I said, okay, great. I'm going to do singles events completely different than everybody else. Instead, there's no speed dating. There's none of that one-on-one, just asking each other questions like a ping pong match and then figuring out that you guys don't match with each other. Instead, we do the exact opposite. We're going to show you the personality. We're going to show you sides of them that you will never see. See, most of you who end up in divorce, what happened? Or in a bad relationship, what happened? Well, didn't you go through the whole Q&A part? You had a little coffee date and you had each other questions and they asked you questions and you go back and forth, and you decide to marry this person only to get divorced 2 years later because I never saw this side of him. I didn't know they were like this. I didn't know she was like that. Well, what happened? Well, how would I supposed to see that side? Well, let me do the exact opposite. Our events basically are going to show you that side of them so you can see who you have conflict with and more importantly, who you have chemistry with, who you make a good team with. And then you decide from this room of 40 men or 40 women who you want to speak to after the event. And then from there, you're going to do that whole Q&A stuff that you typically do. You spend all those weeks, possibly months, asking each other questions so you can pursue for marriage, rather than finding it out later only to end up in a divorce. So what are these type of activities? These are activities where sometimes it's cooperative, sometimes it's competitive, sometimes it's team building, sometimes there's all these different elements to it. But I said it has to be far more than that. I need to make it rejection proof. So how do you make it rejection proof? You make everyone at the event have this special app. We call it HOD Live. And what's going to happen is with all the activities are built into the app, but more importantly, each person at the event is also there. And if you click on them, over 200 data points show up. You can see their answers to 158 marriage questions, so you don't have to ask them. You can see their priorities, their interests, their personality, what they're attracted to, what they can tolerate, about me, about my match, their interests, everything under the sun, even their deal breaker questions is all there. But more importantly than any of that stuff, if you find them interesting during the event, all you have to do is click on the little slider button next to their picture. But unlike other social media, they don't get a notification. If anyone clicks on you, you also don't get a notification. At midnight, if both of you happen to like each other and there's a mutual interest, then at 12:01 a.m., you both get a message that says there's a mutual interest. If you do that, that makes it so much easier, so you don't have to do any guesswork. And more importantly, if there's a girl who likes a guy and that guy happens to be in their same social circles, it doesn't get awkward because he'll never know you're interested unless it was mutual. Now, how priceless is that? How many times have you been in circles with people that you were interested in, but you didn't know, you don't want to get weird, so you never showed interest? But how would you ever know if there was mutual interest? This is almost basically a guaranteed way of knowing there's mutual interest without taking any risk. And if they're not interested, they'll never know that you were interested. So we've been doing these events from city to city to city. The last event we did was last Saturday. 64% of our attendees found a match. Now that sounds a lot, but the last one in Toronto, 70% of our attendees, this was on September 4th, found a match. And the one before that, which was in Northern California, Oakland, California, we had 83% of our attendees finding a match. Now it sounds incredible to you, but to us is like, we're expecting 50% or more of our attendees finding a match. This is why we've announced our London event, and we have over 360 people who've applied, even though the event's not until like mid-November. So it's like, there's a lot of people, and they have speed dating events every week, but we're not speed dating. Here's another interesting thing. About 25% of our attendees at our last event, almost 25%, traveled, took a flight. Now, when was the last time someone took a flight to come to your event or the event you went to? How many times do you see men? So there's so many men dressed so nicely that at one point I actually asked the entire table, brothers, can you all stand up for one moment for me? Sisters, look at these brothers. And they all start clapping. I said, when will you see this many brothers dressed up for you? Take a flight for you. Take an Uber, take a hotel, book hotels, pay $800-900 just to meet you. All of you guys are complaining there's no good brothers, there's no serious brothers out there. I've been able to extract them from different parts of the United States and Canada, brought them all into a room, and I have unique activities structured, and it's fun because it's hosted by Baba Ali, a comedian, and we have an amazing time. If you don't believe me, or you just want to see what does this whole vibe feel like, just go to my Instagram. It's called Real Baba Ali or Hafardeen. Click on one of my videos, and I actually have selfies. I'm recording. You can hear the energy in the room, and that tells you what the room is like. And the events are private. The events are hard to get into. Let me be transparent with you guys. Only about 28% of people who apply get a seat. Most of the people don't get in. We handpick.
Tell them why.
Yeah.
Tell them why they don't get in.
Oh, because what we do is we instead of just selling you a ticket, that's what other people do, by the way. As long as you have money, they'll take it. Ours is like, no, we want to make sure there's equality here. So we have a 1-to-1 ratio between male and female. We also have like the right age group of what you're looking for. We also know exactly who's sitting at which table. We have all this control over it rather than just selling you tickets because you're willing to pay for it. If it was about money, the 200 plus people that were rejecting at $100 each, that's $20,000 I'm throwing away. Now, how many of you will throw away $20,000 just for the sake of quality? I am. Do it almost every event. So I have the next events that are coming up for those who are interested. We have in November 5th, we have Northern California again. This is the third event in Northern California this year. The first one was 61% in March. 83% attendees found a match in August 13th. And November 5th will be the next event. We'll see what number comes up. November 12th and 13th will be in London. December 3rd in Tampa, Florida. And December 10th will be in Vancouver. So if anyone's interested, you can follow my Linktree and then Linktree-Halfdeen and you'll find it. Or you can message me on Instagram and I'll let you guys know. I'll give you links to those things if you want to apply for the seats. But if you do want to, make sure you guys don't miss out. All you guys keep saying, oh, where do I find good people? Where do I find good people? And then on top of that, a structured event that's fun and engaging. The games are really, really fun. That's one of the things I get told quite a bit from people. And they say the quality of people are really, really good there. Multiple people have been very, very successful at our events. So I'm excited, as you can tell from my passion that I have for this. I don't think like everybody else. This is not designed by some aunties. See, this is designed by men. And when you design by men, guess who you attract? Men. That's my goal. I'm not trying to attract women. I'm being transparent with everybody here. I'm going to try my design for these activities and everything was to attract one group of people, men. Because the sisters are going to come no matter what. The brothers are the most hard to find. And every single organization out there, they know they struggle to get men. My last event, I had one more male than female. My Toronto event, I had one more male than female. So I don't have a problem getting men, alhamdulillah. But everybody else I talk to, everybody else has a problem and they struggle because their entire structure is designed by women. You're not going to find beautiful decorations. You're not going to have fancy little this, beautiful centerpieces. I don't got none of that stuff. If you want that, go somewhere else. I have quality men who are serious looking to get married. I don't even have dinner for you guys. I have appetizers. That's it. It's like, then why would I pay? Go to a singles event and pay for them. But if you're looking to get married, then you come to my event. That's if you get in.
Exactly. And I've seen the energy. I've seen the videos, guys. I mean, it's so fun. Everybody is just like charged up in the beginning. They're kind of like, but then Ali steps in and he does his magic. And, you know, it's very, very active. It's impossible for you to not, throw yourself into the activities and the games and stuff like that. But the most important part that I, think that I was hoping that you would hear from Baba Ali was, you're not going to get in just to get in. He's not going to just take your money just to take your money. That's what separates him from all of the other fake, well, not fake sites, but the sites that really don't have your better interest in mind. This guy is going to ask you questions to see if anybody would even want you, right? At the thing. If you're a woman that's 22 and you say my age gap is 30, he's not going to let in the 31-year-old guy. He has no place because that's her cap. So when you sign up to these events, there's going to be somebody, there for you. Inshallah. I mean, listen to the numbers, 61%, 70%, and 83%. And how many people have you got married since you?
We have 2,700 plus success stories that we know of. There's a lot of people who don't tell us, but what we know of, they actually told us, like reached out to us, is 2,700 people plus so far. So as you know, many of you
I would say double that.
Yeah, maybe more, because what happens is a lot of people get married and they just don't want anyone to know that they met on our website. And understandably so, because our website and our offline events attract a more private audience, people who don't want anyone to know they're looking to get married. So our locations are always private. Like we'll say Vancouver, December 10th from 1 to 5 p.m. Where in Vancouver? Only the people who get in are given the exact address. Everybody else has no idea. So it's like Vancouver is like 45 minutes away from everywhere else. Over there, we don't want anyone to accidentally see you at this event. The only people that know that you're at this event are people at this event. I have a BBC who wants to do a story on this, and I told them, no, I can't. They flew down to LA when I had an event here, and I told them, you can't do it. They said, well, this is going to get over BBC. BBC is the biggest media in the world, and this will get you huge. And I said, I can't. Why? Because of privacy of 40 people, of 80 people? Yeah, just because of that. So I have a level of things that I will not compromise whatsoever. And they never did the story. NPR allowed them to do it because they were audio only. But I try to do things in such a way that's unique, and that's why I think we have unique results. So if you never experienced anything like, you always want to try something different, I suggest you guys to try and give yourself a shot. You have to try every halal means possible, right? If you tried everything else and none of those things have worked out for you, come to one of our live events, try it out for yourself, and then come and tell everyone what you thought. You will not see one negative comment on YouTube or anything else. And I can't control people. People can say whatever they want. But it's amazing that you haven't heard anything negative about it. So far, we have success story after success story after success story, alhamdulillah.
That's a pretty good record, man, in my estimation, because a lot of the other apps that people go to, especially the swipe apps, people have bad situations and things that happen to them all the time on those apps. I don't think they take the. I was on halfdeen.com, and what is it? 151 questions, 161.
Yeah, 158 questions we ask.
158, and I mean, it's so user friendly. You get into here and you don't waste your time. Baba Ali is like formulated through experts, like on which questions to really separate people into groups. Of what they have in common. And so you don't waste your time.
The main way, sisters, I think the biggest complaint sisters have is like, whenever I go through a profile on any website, men don't write too much about themselves. We'll tell you later, ask me, I'm looking for just a good sister. And even when they message you, well, how many times have you got salams, hi, hey, what's up? Men don't, it's almost like they're being charged per word, right? So it's like, why don't you tell me something? So sisters, most of the messages they get in their DMs, they don't respond to, right? Men, we don't have this situation because no one's messaging us in our DM. But generally, sisters don't respond to most of the messages. And men wonder why. And it's because it's the lack of communication, the lack of sincerity. It looks like it's like you've messaged 1,000 people like this. So brothers who are listening, let me give you a piece of advice. Read her profile. And when you respond, comment on something you read on her profile so she can differentiate you from the other people who are just saying salams to 100 people. And on the second side of it is because men don't write too much about themselves, what we did is we structured our website in such a way so we can extract that information for you. We asked 158 questions to men. Now, I ask you, sisters, here's a challenge for you. If you just met a guy and you say, Assalamu alaikum, here's 158 questions. Can you answer for me? This is what the guy's going to do. He's going to run away. I would run away.
Bounce.
Exactly. 150 questions? Are you crazy, sister? I was like, oh, I think, lady, you're off your medication. Why? You would. Sisters would answer it. Men don't. Right? Because we're like, I don't have time to do all this stuff. I have a life to live. So what happens with men is that you have to give them incentive. The incentive we give men is we say, hey, answer these 158 questions and you'll never do it again. What do you mean? Well, your answers will be on your profile. If any sister wants to see your answers, they just look at your profile. And if you do all of it, I'll show you the top of search results when you sort by top members. You're now considered a top member. And men do that. I get top of search results and I don't have to answer these questions again. Exactly. Now, what sisters value is like, wow, I got all these answers from all these brothers. I don't have to extract this from every brother I'm talking to. In fact, I can search by specific answers. I only want to look for brothers who want to live in the city. I only want to look for brothers who are open to marry someone divorced. I only want to marry brothers who have a strong desire for children. I want to marry brothers that don't want to have kids. I want to search for brothers who have these characteristics. All of these things. SubhanAllah. You can do those things. And then unfortunately, because the other websites don't think this way, including the live events. Our live events, I know some of you are nervous. I know some of you are like uncomfortable and you don't want to see yourself. I never thought yourself to do this. The last thing I want you to do is send you to the wolves and say, hey, go out there and figure it out yourself. No, literally from the moment you arrive to the time you put your name badge on, I am not physically, but holding your hand through the whole thing from A to Z to help you through the whole process. You don't have to do anything on your own. Every activity has been designed in a very specific way. The first activity has been designed knowing that you're nervous, knowing that it's awkward, knowing that there's a tension in the room, is there to break the ice. It's almost like a game show. It'll make you laugh, and the whole room will start laughing. It's very interactive. When you break that ice, then you move on to the next one, which will be a little bit more deeper. Then you move on to the next one, which is a room activity. I got a game. I don't have it in front of me. Actually, I'm working on a game right now, which looks like this. All of this.
Baba Ali loves games. Loves games.
I have about 280 something games at my home. I'm a game designer. The name Baba Ali, by the way, came from the board games I used to invent. I'm the only Muslim that you probably meet in your life that has his games owned by non-Muslims. Now, every single Muslim you ever met has made a trivia game. Every single Muslim. You have never, ever, you can't even name a non-trivia Muslim game. Try it. Say it in the chat. For the last 20, 30, 40 years, all we Muslims can do is the exact same thing. Well, what I'm doing is completely different. In fact, I don't even have a trivia game. I have no trivia games I invented. All my games are different. I have a negotiating game. I have a Muslim party game. I have this game. I have that game. So what I did differently with all these different things is I thought to myself, now I need to invent a game for one audience, Muslim singles. But I don't want to sell any of these games. I'm going to build these games to take the single events to help Muslims get married. And that's what you guys are experiencing. Baba Ali's invention games designed specifically for Muslim singles. I didn't go buy something from Target or Walmart and just bring it to you guys. No, specifically for Muslim singles looking to get married and to help you learn about each other in a very short amount of time. That's fun, that's engaging, that's interactive, that makes you forget that you're at a singles event, and then you can learn about each other. And then the first thing you want to ask me is, where's your next event? So I'm excited.
Jazakallah khair. Jazakallah khair. Well, Ali, let's. I've had chicken palau in front of me. I'm looking at it right now. On the table.
That's the code red. Code red.
Bro, abort. I mean,
okay, that's all good, man. Pleasure speaking to you, brother. It's been a pleasure speaking to you.
Well, before we go, I just want to say, guys, you've heard it, and I'm sure that the rest of the people that try to sell you a site or how to get married. This is a guy that's been married for over 20 years, and he dedicated pretty much his life to getting people married and helping them stay married. So go follow Baba Ali on Instagram, sign up for these events, and myself, I also go over to my channel, Maliki Click. The people that are in the room right now are on it, so you know how to follow me. Follow me. Also, I have TikTok. I've had a rough 2 weeks on TikTok. I've been banned 4 times, had 5 videos removed. I've been removed from live 2 times. I'm up to 75,000 followers. It's crazy. It's a crazy ride. Go follow me on TikTok, inshallah. Also, the most important part that I just put today, this is Super Halal Vibes. You got to have a Super Halal Vibes t-shirt, hoodie, backpack, mug. I got everything.
I got one myself. My daughters have one as well. So,
SubhanAllah. I appreciate the support. So, if you're watching this, you'll see on my main page on my YouTube, you can go to my store right now. And as Baba Ali has said, he has a T-shirt. His daughters have a T-shirt. I have the T-shirt. Before, the first customer that I ever had was me, because I'm so sick of Muslims putting out things that are not quality, that I wanted to make sure that I could sign up on this product myself. So I'm just going to ask Ali. We didn't even discuss this before the show. Give me an honest critique. How did the T-shirts look? How did they feel?
Oh, they're awesome.
Let me know.
That's why I was telling him right before we started the show, I wear the shirt often. And I feel like I'm almost working for Super Halal Vibes as a company because I wear it so many different places. It's such a nice, soft, comfortable shirt. You want to wear it. So it's part of like, your cycle of clothes that you're wearing regularly. My wife has probably watched this so many times because I wear it so often, so regular to different events. And it's a very, very chill shirt to wear. It's cool because it's different. I like it. Super Halal Vibes. You know what I mean? It sounds like a person who likes to chill.
do people ask you like Super Halal Vibes? What is it?
Yeah. That's where'd you get this shirt from? Again, it's one of those unique things you can't just buy something. You're not gonna walk around with 100 people having it. You're unique because you have it, and that's what's cool about it. Yeah.
SubhanAllah. I appreciate the support. And like I said,
of course,
I'm in the go to my YouTube channel. Click on the link. It's right there. My TikTok, my store, my Twitter. everything is in the header. All you need to do is just click on it, follow me. And the last thing that I want to do is plug EA Dawa. Just go to EA Dawa. It should, I don't know if it's, are you here, Friendly Muslim? Probably he's in the back. Go to EA Dawa. EA Dawa is a platform that is doing a lot of things. And they are doing a lot of things almost every single day, if not every day. Because, you know, as Friendly Muslim and Khalil Allah says, the Dawa don't stop. It doesn't stop. If we're going to live in the West, the Dawa can't stop, right? So go and follow EA Dawa and all of the people that is associated with it on the platform, like myself. But go follow Khalil, Friendly Muslim. Medina Dawa has a channel as well. Go follow Medina Dawa. I think Khalil and Medina Dawa both have a show together. There's the Friend Zone with Friendly Muslim. All type of things are going on that channel. So make sure that you go to EA Dawa and check it out. There's a lot, tons of content. So with that being said, Ali, bro, you know how we go back, man. I just feel like I'm talking to a brother, man. We're just chopping it up, but you know, but it's things that we got. This discussions that we got to have, even though it sounds like he's talking bad about women or he's talking bad about men. No, we need to talk about these things because they're uncomfortable and there's a problem in our ummah, and we need to solve about these problems. Yeah. If we don't talk about them, how are we going to solve them?
Yeah,
we can't. So with that, I want to thank our guest, my brother, Baba Ali, that I know, mashallah, good brother. Let me tell you something about Baba Ali. I'm not blowing him up, but everything he says, I'll let you know. This brother is who he is on the screen and off the screen. He is who he is online and offline. I've had plenty of time to know him to see if he slips up. He's not perfect, but to see, okay, maybe he really isn't who he says, who he is online, how he talks. He is. Okay, so if you want to get married, if you want to know how to stay married, go to this guy. Go sign up for his live events. I'm not playing. This guy doesn't joke around. He has more energy than any human being that I've seen in my lifetime. And no, he does not drink coffee or tea. This brother is the coffee. Baba Ali is the coffee. So make sure that you go to his live stream. Seriously, go to Instagram right now, follow him, and sign up for his next event, inshallah. So with that, barakallah fikum. Thank you for everybody coming tonight. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa barakatuh.